there's what I call the reconciliation ministry. When we began this conversation, the first thing you must realize is that before we have the conversation of the new man, it means that there's an old man conversation somewhere. Now the question must ask ourselves, and I believe that I've given that conversation before. That is that before the old man, what was the nature of this man that made this man that presently we can refer to that man as the old man? You must know that there was a God nature existing in the man before the fall of that man, and I drew it that day on the board. So there's a God nature, then it transited to sin nature. That God nature was before the fall of that man. Then when man fell, it was what now we call the sin nature that took that order. Then when Christ came, the provisions of Jesus that made every man to come into salvation made that man to return back to God nature. So it was God nature, sin nature, then what? Back to God nature. Now the old man conversation is in line with the sin nature, is in the category, or is basically the sin nature. Then the new man aspect is basically now God nature, the present new man. I don't want to draw today because of my time, so I have to go to flow or whatever. So if a man is in what we call the old nature, you see, the only one who can say that somebody is in the old nature is the one who has attained the new nature. As long as you are still in that old nature, as long as you are still in the sin nature, you cannot see that it's an old nature. I get what I'm saying. It's only old when you have left that place into another place. As long as you are still stationed there, it is not old. I get it. Okay, let me give this illustration. The pictures that you took, let me say when you're in primary school or you are in high school, when you took them, were they old pictures? They were not, right? Now, years now have gone, and now when you look back to those pictures, do you call them new pictures? They're what? They're old, right? You see, they can only call them old because you have left that place. As long as you are still in that state, they were not old to you. In fact, they were so new. Some of you today, when you look at those pictures, can even wonder, what was I doing in this picture? Who took this picture? But that time it was the best picture for you. It was not old at that time. But now, because you have moved steps and years have taken over, now that picture is old because you are in another state. That is a very concept. A man who is in sin, in the nature of sin, does not see or does not have the conversation of the old man or the new man to them.